Now front and back pattern traced. Now we are going to join the shoulder seam and side seam for the test fit. Match shoulder seam to shoulder seam. Fold any one shoulder seam to ready line and match with front shoulder seam ready line, and make sure the length of the shoulder is equal and dots match together. Dots should match, end of the shoulder should match, and neckline should match. Here you put pins perpendicular to the shoulder line. Match the dot. Once you complete the shoulder seam, match the side seam together. First check whether the side seams are matching. Both the side seams are matching in length. Then put a pins. Match ready line to ready line. Pin perpendicular to the seam line. Now we got the shape of the body. This we are going to test on the dress form. Put the cloth on the dress form. First put a pin at center front neck. Put one pin at bust level. And check this is matching waistline. Put a pin here. Then in the back, put a pin at center back neck. Match the center back. Put pin at center back waist. So you can see that it is matching across back, bust level, everything. Match the shoulder. And once it's ready, you check is there any drag lines or whether it is fitting properly. You can see it is giving a smooth fit here. This gap will be there because of the bust bridge. Then the side seam should match. E should distribute evenly both front and back. And the dot should match to the princess seam, both front and back. And front shoulder dot and back shoulder dot should match. And you should get a smooth neckline, smooth armhole line, both top and bottom. It should have a continuous curve. Waist should have a smooth curve. And there should not be any drag lines. So it should give nice fitting. If any issues, check and correct it. So before transferring this muslin cloth to pattern, you have to do the test fit. So you have often in seam allowances. So if anything required, you can adjust maybe here, side seam. Check on the body and correct the pattern before transferring into pattern. So once everything is completed, you are satisfied with the fitting, you can transfer this into the pattern. Now I have taken front and back skirt. First check the side seams are matching both front and back. Check the hip line and check the waistline. It should match. Then fold on seam line, fold on sew line, match sew line of front and put pins. And while checking, make sure you have a continuous smooth curve on the waist. put pins horizontally, match both the sew lines and make sure your hip lines are matching. Continue the process till the bottom. Okay, you can see the pins are not visible on the back side, very minute. So now we got the shape of the body. Okay, we are ready for test fit. Now I have front and back skirt pattern joined together for the test fit. Match center front waist, put pins, then align center front, then hip should match, put a pin at the bottom, side seam should match, and put a pin at center back. Just automatically match the hip level, that is a horizontal balance line. Put a pin at the bottom. It should match with the side seam, both top and bottom. Bottom side seam also matching. And you can see the horizontal balance line. The hip level is the horizontal balance line. So it should match perfectly throughout center front to center back. If it is going up and down, so example, if it is going up, you can see it's hiking here, or if it is coming down, all the loose will go in this side. So it should match on the side seam, exactly on the waist seam, and this hip level, that is a horizontal balance line, also should align with body dress form marking. And the distribution, the ease should have uniform distribution all over the body. It should not come like this or like that. Sometimes you will get like flat on the center and more ease on the side. That is not correct. Sometimes it will be flat on the side and ease will come at the center. So this should be distributed evenly. and it should have a smooth, nice fitting. So check all the things before transfer into the pattern. If any correction is required, you can remove the pins and adjust if dot is required, some adjustment required on the side seam, everything can be done like that. And this first dot should align with princess seam, back also should align with princess seam. So this complete test fit for the skirt. Now bodice and skirt has been joined at the waist level, and check both the dots are matching on front and back, and waist seams are matching, and the same kind of ease is getting at the bottom and other things. There should not be any drag lines, and center front and center back should be aligned properly, and ease should be there, the gap should be there all around the skirt. Now this we already did the test fit. Now I am going to trace this on the cardboard for the base pattern. First draw a vertical line, center front line, draw the bust line, should be perpendicular to each other. Then match the bust line and center front line, put push pins, mark the bust point, use the tracing wheel to trace the waistline, dot legs, side seam is a straight line, so starting and ending is fine. Armhole, neckline. Once you complete all the lines, remove the push pins. Draw the dot. Mark perpendicular line at waist and starting of the neck. Draw the shoulder dot. Use the French curve. To draw the arm hole. Draw the neckline. And where you are having a dots, you have to through the dots and make the waist seam and shoulder. First of all, to make a smoother fit, you have to reduce 1 inch on both the side the dot. Mark 1 inch on center line on both sides and redraw the dot. Leave 1 inch extra on both waist and shoulder seam. Crease the dot leg and the center of the dot. Fold the dot and you can use hip curve or French curve to make the smooth shape. First crease the dot leg and crease the center line. Fold. Draw the shoulder seam. Then cut. and give the details. Bust point, bust level, center front, side seam, front bodice block, size 8 and date and other details. Draw the grain line parallel to the center front. No seam allowance. And add notches. One notches on the dot leg, another notches on another dot leg, and two notches here, and one notches on the center front neck and center front waist, and one notches on the armhole. I am measuring 3.5 inch and make one notches. One notches comes on the front, two notches comes on the back, and you have to mark this dot point. For that, do not mark exactly on the edge of the dot. Mark 1/2 inch inside and make a circle. Mark 1/2 inch inside and make a circle. So this completes front bodice block pattern. Now I am going to trace back bodice pattern to the pattern paper. For this, first draw the vertical line. And draw the horizontal balance line. Here across back is the horizontal balance line. Next, match the center back and across back. It should match the horizontal balance line and put pins. Then mark the dot end points. Trace the bottom, dot leg, side seam, armhole, shoulder, and neckline. Once you trace all the marks, remove the fabric. Starting should be perpendicular. Draw the dot. Draw the armhole. Draw the neckline. Close the dot. Dot crease the dot leg which is near to the center. Crease the center line. Close the dot. Use the French curve to make waist shape smoother. Mark the midpoint. Close the dot by creasing the dot leg and center of the dot. Then cut the pattern. Close the dot. and give the labels. Center back. Draw the grain line. Which is parallel to the center back. Give the label. Size 8 and give the notches on both the dot legs. And mark half an inch inside and encircle for the dot end point. And measure and mark 2 notches at half an inch interval for the back. So 1 notch for the front, 2 notch for the back. Now front and back bodice pattern is ready. Check the matching, check the side seam. Both the length are matching and you have a smooth armhole and nice waist shape, continuous waist shape. Then shoulder, close the dots. Then match the shoulder seam should match and you should have a continuous smooth armhole shape and neck shape. Let's see how to trace front skirt pattern. First draw the center front line and horizontal balance line, that is the hip level in the pattern. Then match center front and HBL on the pattern and pin it. Trace the bottom, trace side seam, trace waist seam, trace both the dot legs, trace center of the dot, dot legs, center of the dot, mark dot end point, once you complete all the marking, remove the pins. Draw the dots. Starting should be 90 degree. Crease the dot. Use French curve or hip curve to draw the smooth shape. Then cut the pattern. Label the pattern. Draw the grain line parallel to center front. Mark notches on both the dot legs. Mark one notches on the hip level. Mark notches at the bottom of the center front. One notch on the center front waist. Mark half an inch from the dot end point and encircle it. For the dot marking and label. Now we completed front skirt tracing from the draping. Let's see how to trace the pattern from back skirt draping. First draw a vertical line. Draw the horizontal balance line. Match center back and hip level. Put push pins. Trace the bottom. Trace side seam. Trace the waist seam. Trace dot legs. Center of the dot. Dot end point. Once you complete all the marking, remove the fabric. Draw the side seam. Draw the dots. Crease the dot. Leave 1 inch extra on the waist seam. Close the dot. Put tapes. Use the French curve. Draw grain line parallel to center back. Mark notches on both the dot legs. One notch on the hip level, one notch on the center back bottom and center back waist. Mark half an inch from the dot end point and mark punch and circle. Make a hole. Label the pattern. Now your back skirt pattern is completed. Now front and back skirt patterns are ready. Check the matching. First check the side seam. Check whether the hip level to bottom is correct and you have a straight bottom, and walk the piece to the top and check you have a smooth shape here and it is matching. Next, close the dot. Close all the 4 dots. And match the side seam and make sure you are getting a smooth shape at the waist. Continuous smooth shape getting at the waist level. Now let us see the body shapes and the relation to the patterns. If you see the neckline, it is continuous smooth neckline from center front to center back, and in the center front it is going horizontally, this is vertical, so it is perpendicular to each other. The center front and starting of the neckline is perpendicular to each other. You can see around 1 centimeter it is coming straight, then it start curve. Here shoulder line, it is not perpendicular to each other, but if you join both the shoulder seam, the neckline should be smooth. Remember, it need not to be perpendicular to each other, but if you join front and back shoulder, the neckline should be smooth. Back neckline, it is more flat than the front. You can see that it is going around 2 centimeter on both the sides straight, then it will start curve. The same thing has to be reflect in your pattern also. So if you match the pattern, it should match the neckline, and you can see around 1 centimeter it is coming straight, then you have a nice smooth curve. Here it need not to be a perpendicular to each other. If you match front and back together, it should be a smooth continuous curve. Center back around 2 centimeter, it should be straight, then you have a slight curve here. And our body is symmetric on both right and left side. So, we are making the pattern only a quarter portion and we are going to mirror. So, even if you mirror, you will get the same fitting. So, that is all about the neckline. Let us see the waistline. Here it is horizontal to the floor, this is parallel to the floor, exactly parallel to the floor, and in the center front it is starting horizontally around 2 centimeter, both the side it is going horizontal, and check the side seam also, this is vertical, this is horizontal. So, it is also perpendicular to each other, but just 1 cm. Similarly, center back also is perpendicular to each other. So, here also it should be perpendicular around 2 centimeter. The same thing should be reflect on your pattern. If you match it here, it's form perpendicular to each other 90 degree here. Then side seam to waist here, again starting should be perpendicular to each other. Back also should start at 90 degree. Center back should start at least 2 centimeter, should be perpendicular to that, should be 90 degree. Then about the waist shape, we made a dot here. If you make it horizontal, it will go slightly up or down. Once you close, you have a different shape, it is coming down and it will go up. But once you close the dot, you will get a continuous smooth curve. It should match with your waist seam. Once you close the back dot, this also have some uneven shape coming down, and you have a dot shape here, and it will go like that. It won't look like a continuous shape, but once you close, you should get a smooth continuous shape. Then if you match center back, this will match with your waist seam. Even though the waist seam is horizontal, in the pattern you won't get perfect horizontal. Don't make it straight line. It will be a curve line. You can see that. If I match it here, it is coming down, but it will match horizontally on the body. Don't draw a straight line like that. It won't fit on the body. If you match front and back side seam, you should get a smooth continuous shape. This is also, you should check it, it should match like this. So, this all about the waistline. Let us see about the armhole. This is close fitted arm mold, this is arm mold plate. Normally you have to reduce here for the ease, and here you can see the arm mold, you have to make it perpendicular to each other. Similarly in the shoulder tip level also, this arm mold is intersect perpendicular to each other. So check it like this. We reduced 1 inch and we are given the ease also half an inch extra, and if you match the center back, here also we are giving 1/4 inch extra across back. So all the ease will be there in the arm mold for free body movement. So if you match it, the side seam, you can see the excess everywhere, but it should have a smooth shape. Don't take it like that. It should be gradually increasing from here to here. So example there, if you can see the difference of half an inch, then if you see the difference of 1 inch, in between it should be 3/4. So should be gradually increase from top to bottom. So we have ease here on the across front, and it should gradually increase. And if you match the shoulder to shoulder, front shoulder and back shoulder, you should get a smooth continuous shape. If you match side seam to side seam at armhole, again you should get a smooth continuous shape, and you should mark notches, 1 notch on the front and 2 notch on the back. Let us see the measurement of front waist arc and back waist arc. What do you think? Whether the measurement will be the same, front and back? Which one will be more? Let us see. Measuring back arc. See, in this dress form it 5 7/8. Front waist arc is 6 5/8. So you can find easily 3/4 of an inch front waist arc is bigger than the back waist arc. So back waist arc is smaller, front waist arc is bigger. In this dress form is 3/4 of an inch. It may vary from country to country, size to size. If you check the bust level, the back, center back to side seam, it's 8 1/8. Then center front to side seam, it's 9 1/2. So 1 3/8 different is there. So front and back, even though it looks similar, it is not same. There is a variation. The same variation you should see in the pattern also. So this is center back, center front. I am matching center front to center back, and you can see a variations here. The same amount here 1 3/8. The same difference you can find it here. The waist, you have to close the dot front and back, and if you see the pattern, the front is bigger and back is smaller. don't make, so example, if your waist is 30 inches all around, so half is center front to center back is 15 inches. Don't make it 7.5 front, 7.5 back. You have a variation, so according to your body measurement you should check and correct it. But shoulder and side seam are common, so that are same for front and back. Side seam should match exactly. Shoulder, after closing the dot, the measurement should be same. But if you match at the bust level, front should be more, and waist level also front should be more. The shape of the skirt, the waistline we already discussed. For the bodies, same, it should be horizontal. Hip line also is horizontal parallel to the floor, and here you can see the same 2 centimeter straight. Then bottom also straight, side seam also perpendicular to each other, the bottom of the skirt and vertical line. Here the waistline and side seam perpendicular to each other, but in the case of the bodies, then this one here you can see more curve than the bodies. So it just start at 90 degree, sometime little more than that, but it should, if you match it, it should have a smooth curve. Here around 2 centimeter, it should be straight. And if you see the hip shape, back has more shape than the front. Here you have a more shape. When I am measuring the bust level, you can see the difference. Front is more, back is less. Waist also, front is more, back waist arc is less. Let's see the hip level. What do you think? Which will be more, front or back? Let's see. Measuring back is 9.5, and the front is 9 inches. So obviously the back is more because of the body balancing. So front you have bust, we have to stand straight, right? So if you have more on the front, and it has to adjust on the back. So if you divide, front and back should have the same weight, then only we can stand straight. So to compensate the bust, you have a back seat area. So back will be more, front will be less. So remember, at bust level, front will be more, back will be less. Waist level, front will be more, back will be less. I am not talking about the pregnant and those who have a tummy and all, normal figure. And hip level, back will be more, front will be less, to balance our body. This you should remember. And check the pattern, front skirt. Even though you can see a horizontal line here, but in your pattern it's going up and down like a wave, right? It is required, but once you close the dots, you can see if you make it flat, it will go up from the center front. If you make a horizontal line, this will go up, but once you put it on the dress form, it exactly align with the waist shape. So if you want the pattern exactly aligned to the waist shape, in the flat area it should go up. It is based on the waist measurement. For some it will go to half an inch, for somebody it will only quarter inch. It's based on the waist shape and dot. But if you open the dot, you will get some wavy kind of thing, but once you close it, you will get a smooth continuous curve, but it will go up. But when you are going to fitting, this will match. And you can see the measurement of hip depth. The front will be less. Vertically it look like same, right? This is also parallel to the floor, this is also parallel to the floor, but this is flat. Here you can see the slant. So due to that, the side hip depth will be more than the front hip depth, so that you will have a more length. If you measure center front to here and from side seam will obviously 1/4 inch to 3/8 more than the front. So I am measuring from center to center 8/4, from center to center it's 8 5/8. So obviously 3/8 is differ, it's based on the shape, but this dress form is 3/8. The back will be little less, it is 8 only because less shape. So in the terms of hip depth, lowest is back, center back, next is center front, the maximum is hip depth. So if you see in the pattern also, it should reflect. So you can see this measurement, this will go height, that is why the 3/8, right, in this dress form it is 3/8, so it should go 3/8 up, so that it will compensate the shape. And the length of the dot for the front, normally it will be below or on the line of abdominal level, the top hip level. So the shape, you can see it is flat here, you can see in the side it is flat here, and you have more shape on the towards side. So till princess seam you can't hardly find any shape, but from princess line to here you can see the variation. From here to here it's a slight variation, but here and here you have more variation. That's why we are making a one dot at princess seam, another dot here. If you make a dot here, it will come out and you won't get a fitting. And back has more shape than the front. So the dot, back dot, if you check the back dot, the length of the back dot is more than the front dot. Front dot normally it will end on the top hip level or abdominal level, sometime it will go above the abdominal level, but back dot definitely will come below the abdominal level, that is 5 to 6 inches it will come based on the shape. The waist is similar to the front, but only thing is the dot length is more and dot width also more. You can see the front also, the dot width of back is more than the dot width of front, because of you have more shape here, very less. Remember waist, center front waist is more, front waist is less, but while coming to the hip level, back is more, front is less. So to compensate that, you have a bigger dot and bigger dot width based on the body shape. These things you should understand and correct your patterns. Then once everything is ready, small adjustment, you can use this pattern for further designing. Thank you.